Support for Connecticut East This Week comes from Lyman Allen Art Museum, now on view, mixed media works by Puerto Rican artist Emna Arroyo, whose art explores connections between the African continent and its diaspora in an ongoing endeavor to reclaim a scattered heritage. More at lymanallen.org. Newport Mansions, now offering a limited guide-led experience of the third floor of the Breakers Mansion. Never-before-seen private bedrooms, bathrooms and recreational spaces used by the Vanderbilt family and household staff for more than a century. Tickets and information at newportmansions.org. Alliance for Living, the only HIV/AIDS service organisation and resource centre in southeastern Connecticut. It also deals with homelessness and assists people dealing with substance use disorder. Learn more, including working with us, at allianceforliving.org. SCAD, the Southeastern Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, is offering a $3,500 sign-on bonus for licensed clinicians. Go to licensedclinicians.org to learn more. That's licensedclinicians.org. And Connecticut Council on Problem Gambling, here to help individuals and families affected by gambling-related harm. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit our website at ccpg.org. It's southeastern Connecticut's most visited tourist spot, the town of Mystic. So what's it like policing Mystic during the summer when visitors and multiple events add to an already busy workload? We find out. Plus we take a look at other stories making the headlines from around the region. This is Connecticut East This Week. Hello, I'm Brian Scott Smith. The town of Mystic is by far one of the busiest and most popular tourist attractions in southeastern Connecticut, especially during the summer months when it seems like there's parade after parade, either on the water or the land, and visitors flock to the small town to see the sights, visit the museums, bars and restaurants, and of course shop. And not forgetting to visit and eat at the famous Mystic Pizza. Yes, you have to be of a certain age to get that reference. According to the 2020 census, the population of Mystic is around 4,500 people, and Mystic was ranked the fourth most popular tourist attraction to visit in the entire US, according to a recent USA Today survey. And as the population swells with visitors, so does the work of the two police departments that look after Mystic, Stonington Police and the Town of Groton Police Departments. So on a recent hot, sunny summer day, I had a ride along with one of the two police departments, the Town of Groton Police, to see firsthand what it takes to police Mystic.
So yesterday, Albie located the stolen vehicle at the Hilltop. That was good on you for doing your extra patrol checks, right? So especially with our Axon cameras and all that, it should tell you if you run into a stolen vehicle, right? However, if you have vehicles that are backed into parking spots, stuff like that, so if you see a vehicle that's backed in with its license plate concealed in the bushes or something like that, that's something that we should be looking at.
Officer Brown, we've just had roll call. It's just gone 2:30 in the afternoon, and so you and your colleagues have had your roll call. What happens now?
Once we're wrapped up here, we're briefed on the shifts prior and ready to hit the road and jump out to a call if one comes in. So I'm working until 11:30 tonight, and then we'll be relieved by the midnight shift.
And of course, you are a canine officer as well, so not only is it yourself.
Yeah, we have 3 canines total. Essentially one pre-shift, 3 patrol dogs, and then there's Chase and Heather with the community policing.
So we've just got into your police car. The first call's already happened. What can you tell us?
So we are heading to the Groton Shopping Center for a woman sleeping in a vehicle, and the caller's concerned about her based on the heat, and it's pushing 85 degrees right now, so we'll see what turns up.
We turned up at the call. Another officer, another colleague of yours had already been here, so it's all good news. Just tell us what the situation was.
So it turned out she was just traveling on a long road trip and decided to find a parking lot for a nap, so all is well.
Just tell us, you get designated areas, so being a patrol officer, it's a lot of driving around.
Yes, certainly. I mean, we're all subject to the calls, so we have our assigned areas, and when the calls start coming in, it pulls people away. Sometimes 2 officers are tied up at a call, and officers are pulled from in maybe a different area in town. to respond to another call that's outside of their area, but we all just answer the call when it comes in, and it's part of the job.
And this particular shift that we're on, I think you said it's one of the busier shifts, is that right?
Yeah, certainly, the evening shift, so everyone's getting out of work, get the rush hour traffic, car accidents. Most of the people, pretty much everyone's awake unless they work, like, say, a midnight shift or something like that. So everyone's out and about, their eyes are open, maybe they came home and found a package was stolen. A lot of things get discovered on the evening shift.
Groton, I mean, it's a big place, there's plenty of people around sort of thing. I mean, we're going to be heading into like downtown Mystic, which of course gets incredibly busy as summer ramps up, which of course we are in. What types of things tend to proliferate a little bit more during the summer period?
In the summer, our population in downtown Mystic spikes. Everyone's visiting, whether it's a day trip or they rented a place and they're staying for a long weekend. You have the occasional shoplifting or larceny in downtown Mystic. More of the crime or criminal activity would happen normally after dark. It might be related to the consumption of alcohol, whether it's, say, people getting into something at a bar or the occasional domestic disturbance, which really can happen anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter if it's our side of the river or the Stonington side of the river. The other part of town, summer, we have a lot of parked beaches, a couple of beaches in town, so we have a lot more activity, people coming in, more people, more car accidents, more calls for service. So the evening shift in the summer really can run you dry on days.
And I'm guessing, obviously, because it's on the water as well, you've got a marine unit. I mean, is there sort of like a bit of a collaboration as well between the marine units and obviously patrol? Because I'm guessing people out on the water, accidents happen. Do you therefore then end up sort of like working together on something like that?
Yeah, certainly. So marine unit, it's comprised of, I'd say, mainly patrol officers. So really, if there's emergency on the water, whatever it may be, maybe Coast Guard's asking for assistance, we normally will have enough, like boat operator and a couple mates that can run out and try to handle the emergency at a moment's notice. So people don't have to drive in. We have enough people kind of up to speed on the boat, so we can respond to emergencies on land and in the water when it's needed.
Of course, the other big thing during the summer, lots of parades, lots of events, just adds that extra bit of pressure, obviously, to you, the patrol, and obviously the police department. Those days, I'm guessing, can get, quite long and tiring.
Oh, certainly. I mean, there's a number of parades in Groton around holidays, St. Patrick's Day. Mystic's well known for them. There's a few a year that runs down West Main Street, Water Street. It's a big event for the town, the area, essentially all the first responders, because choir's pre-planning on the police side, EMS, fire. Everyone's kind of on standby. Roads are shut down, barricades put up. People are working the event. So really any larger event like that draws a lot on the first responders in the town as far as planning goes.
So, Ryan, we're in downtown Mystic and driving through. Just talk us through, the sorts of things that you're on the lookout for. Things you've got technology here. The car is very technology laden, so that's like giving you feedback as well. So there's multiple touch points going on all the time for you.
Yeah, certainly. So we just rolled into downtown Mystic. It is a weekday. It is Thursday. I had to check. Good traffic, steady foot traffic. Everything seems well. I kind of just, every time I'm in downtown Mystic, I run through a few times, show that we're here, we're present, kind of figure out what's going on. If there's an event that maybe we're unaware of, and there's hundreds of more people than we expected doing XYZ. But everything seems relatively peaceful today. Mostly tourists and families out and about and enjoying the weather and maybe getting an ice cream cone or something.
It's that $64 million question. I mean, people either love or hate police officers, but generally, in something like a tourist town where there's so many different things going on, I mean, how generally are the police perceived? How do you get perceived, do you feel?
I think it's favorable. A lot of people want to enjoy when they're in downtown Mystic, whether visiting, vacation or whatnot, or working. They want to have a good time. They want to be safe. Try to facilitate that. Obviously, safety is our priority. Responding to crime or trying to prevent crime by presence alone. That's kind of the hard thing to measure, because you never know what someone's going to do on the side of the road. If they were planning to commit a crime and then police car rolls by, maybe they have a second thought, never happens. It's really an unmeasurable statistic.
So the interesting thing, of course, Ryan, about Mystic is it's actually served by two police forces, Town of Groton, which is your organisation, but also Stonington Police as well. Just talk to us about how that works, because I'm guessing there's a lot of interactions or what you call mutual assistance, because of the fact that, unlike most situations, there's two police forces that are able to look after Mystic?
Yeah, certainly. So the Mystic River divides us. We have the drawbridge, the highway bridge, and then up near Gold Star Highway, Route 27. That really is the dividing line for the Groton side and Stonington side of Mystic. So a lot of times we will, say, run into an incident where something happens on one side of the bridge. Maybe it happens on the Groton side, carries into Stonington. So we'll work together. We have the same radio system. Our police departments work together a lot, whether it's call for mutual aid, whether it's a larger incident, downtown Mystic, their side or our side. More hands makes the job significantly easier. So we're always working together, a good relationship between the two departments.
So Ryan, we've just taken a quick break to let Sabre out, your canine officer partner. Obviously difficult, to find that time, but it's important though.
Yeah, certainly. I take him out a couple times a day. I'm at work, whether it's training, just stretch your legs, let him take care of what he has to do. But yeah, we ran up to the oral school, bunch of fields, so you get to run around for a little bit, have some fun, get to play without working, but sometimes you got to let him be a dog. But
you were saying as well, and very importantly, that you have to sort of draw the line, though, as to how much play that he can have, because I'm sure he'd like to play all day, but of course at any point you could be called and he may be needed as well.
If you're ready, he has to be ready. You never know when a call is going to come in for a long track in the heat. I mean, it's 80-something degrees today, pretty humid too. So you don't want to overwork him or let him have too much playtime, because in 5 minutes we could be tracking someone in Groton or a neighboring town for a canine assist.
Because you have your canine colleague as well, I mean, you're having to think of both of you, not just yourself. I mean, obviously you have to look after yourself as well in your health and pacing yourself, but, you've got this extra colleague as well that you're having to think about.
Yeah, certainly. He's my partner. He's there on just about every call. Arguably, I spend more time with him than many of my coworkers, so he always agrees with me. We just take care of the basic necessities, and so it's one of the best jobs that are available, I think, being a canine officer.
I was going to say, when you got the opportunity, because when you first were an officer, you weren't a canine officer. I believe, when we were talking before the interview, you've been a canine officer now for about 3 years. What made you make that decision?
We all start out as patrol officers. I got involved in a little bit of the training as a decoy. I always wanted to be a canine handler. I liked what the dogs could do. They are amazing for the tool that they are for law enforcement. And then I finally got an opportunity. I busted my butt for a little bit and got a chance to get a dog. So I've been running around with him for 3 years. A lot of the things that we've done, I probably wouldn't have been involved in at all if I didn't have the dog. So it's given me different experiences, better experiences, some of the best times at work that I've had.
And of course, the other thing which we should point out is he's your constant companion, because not only is he your partner at work, but of course canine officers do take the dogs home. They are part of your family. So how does he react in that non-police role? I mean, is he like you? Is he able to sort of let it go at the end of a shift?
He is. He likes to be alone for a little bit after he gets his meal when we get home. But in his older age, now that he's 8, he's kind of a little lap dog now. Always wants attention, but he can turn it off, gets along with the family. Overall, a good work partner and good at home as well.
We've just come down to Water Street near the Mystic Museum of Art, and here is a little substation for police. We did have a little situation, and nothing major. Just explain what we came across.
So we have a police parking spot down here, very close to the substation and the public restrooms, and there was a gentleman just enjoying the spot briefly. Went out to ask him to move along. I think I took one step out of the car, and he was already reversing, so things are resolved quicker than we expect.
It is clearly signed, but I mean, I suppose one of the issues with Mystic is parking is always a bit of a problem, and I suppose if people think they can just get away with something maybe just for a short period of time, I mean, you must run into this, because it is, parking is an issue, and I'm guessing during summer it really does become even more of an issue as well.
Absolutely, parking is always an issue down here, especially when it's nice, especially in the weekend, holiday, you name it. There never seems to be enough spots, but we do have this one assigned for us in case we have to, say, go to the substation, or sometimes we have to park here because parking can be so rough and we're not going to park in the middle of the road. Sometimes for a non-emergency we'll have to park here and then walk to the business if it's a shoplifting or whatnot. So this is a valuable spot for many of the police officers in the town.
Ryan, we've just got out of the car for a while. We're probably not going to be out for too long, because it is in the mid to high 80s today. But obviously, it's part of the presence being seen out of the vehicle as well. What's on your mind, and do you speak to the businesses?
We try to stretch our legs a little bit, do a foot patrol, check in business owners, make sure there's no issues going on. Some of the owners we know fairly well, good relationships, so I think it's favorable to just see a police officer walking around downtown.
And sometimes do you get people come up to you, ask you questions? I mean, I'm guessing, because if they're maybe a tourist asking for sort of like directions to somewhere, or like maybe the nearest donut shop?
Yeah, there's always an assortment of questions. Normally it's someone looking for a good bite to eat, maybe some dessert, donut, coffee, you name it. We provide any service we can.
The bars, obviously Mystic, a lot of bars, we spoke about this earlier. What sort of relationship does, the town of Groton Police have with the bars? Because it's a big part of the business. They don't want to feel like they're being over-policed, but by the same token, they need to feel that they're safe, and that obviously the police are there for them. Yeah,
so there's always the balance of the relationship there. Some establishments, there's more calls for service, certain issues. Normally we know the owners, the managers. We have a good enough relationship to try to squash anything before it really gets out of hand.
Another thing that I know that your police department does, and a few others are doing it as well, is the thing called Coffee with a Cop. So people can actually find you, and I know we were joking about obviously coffee and donut shops, but they can find you at a location every now and again, and it is that opportunity, because one of the things is most of the time when police officers are engaged with people, it's sadly because they're at their worst and something's happening. So it must be nice, just to be able to every now and again be able to do that, sort of have a chat with somebody and not be in that sort of like situation where you're dealing with them because they've done something wrong.
Yeah, Officer McClellan runs a lot of community events. Officer Fifi, Chief's often involved in the Coffee with a Cop. Try to hold those, I believe it's a few a year, different locations in town. Stop in, chat, maybe talk about how your day's going, talk about an issue, doesn't matter. We're here, we'll hang out and enjoy your cup.
I think it's probably time to head back to the car, because I don't know about you, you've got much more in the way of like heavy gear on than I am, so I think it's probably good if we head back and see how Saber's doing.
Got to check on him, can't go too far from the car.
We're at a local shopping centre car park. Officer Brillon, what are you doing here? You're helping a member of the public by the looks of it.
Yeah, there was just a minor parking lot accident, and his rear passenger side tire got cut during it, so I'm just trying to help him change it. We were able to get the car jacked up, but when we were taking the lug nuts off the tire, it rolled back onto the jack, so now the jack's stuck in the ground. So I tried to push the pickup here, but it's not moving, so we're just going to see if the tow truck could help us out. They usually have some stuff. So
another thing that the police are expected to do.
Yeah, we try and help people out, especially involved in the accident. It's just a minor accident, like I said earlier. So we can just help him change the tire, get him out of here. That way we're not blocking traffic, and also he can get on with his day.
Is it times like this you wish that you had Officer Brower's canine and you were doing something else? He stood here, you can answer that.
It's my permanent prisoner transport.
Yeah, actually his transport. Whenever he needs somebody called back to the station, he calls me up, charge a canine Uber fee. So
a running list of IOUs of me owing him for transporting people.
We have to explain, of course, for the listeners that, of course, your canine cruiser, of course, can only facilitate yourself and a passenger because, of course, Sabre takes up the rest of the vehicle. So if you have somebody that needs to be taken in, then clearly he needs to call upon another officer.
Absolutely, yeah. About the canine guys, because like you've said, their car can't fit anybody in the back, so all of our cars have prisoner compartments in the back of them, so we just help them out.
We got approved for a lifetime voucher. I'm getting my welding certificate through EB. Things have been good.
I was telling him that I have a couple people that I like first name basis, like you.
If you find them, just
I was like, hey, there's Joey.
So we try to identify
I was like, yeah, we've had interactions, but we're good.
Good man. Hard to find, especially in this field. I appreciate everything you've done. God's honest truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You have a great day.
All right, brother. You're good.
So, Ryan, it's the end of the road for us. Thank you for letting us come along on part of your shift. You've still got many hours and along with Sabre for today. I suppose the last thing we want to leave listeners with at the end of the day is the police are out there to do a job, whether we like it or not. What's your message to the public from the town of Groton Police?
So first, thanks for coming along today. It is a challenging job being a police officer, struggling with a lot of things in society. I'll say that we are always hiring, not only my police department, but other police departments. If you're interested, give it a shot, and you can try to help out a community, whether it's yours or another where you wish to live. We're always trying to keep everybody safe.
Well, Officer Ryan Brower of the Town of Groton Police, ever so many thanks, as I say, for letting us ride along with you today.
I appreciate it. Come back anytime.
And if you're thinking of taking a trip to Mystic and want to know what's on and where to stay, then visit the local chamber website at mysticchamber, all one word, .org for details. And if you're also looking for a career in policing, either with the Town of Groton Police or Stonington Police or another police department in Eastern Connecticut, then visit Law Enforcement Council, all one word, .org for a full list of current open positions in law enforcement across the region. Connecticut East This Week is made possible by the Lyman Allen Arts Museum, located just off I-95 exit 83, has enjoyed celebrating the arts with visitors for almost a century. Throughout the year, the museum presents a wide range of changing exhibitions, in addition to their permanent galleries that celebrate Connecticut art and history and the Tiffany family's ties to the area. Outside, there's sculpture trailers surrounded by 12 rolling acres of gardens and lawns. More at lymanallen.org. Alliance for Living is the only HIV/AIDS service organization and resource center in southeastern Connecticut that also deals with homelessness and assists people dealing with substance use disorder. We provide a safe and confidential environment rooted in harm reduction. We offer a wide range of care to the community, including but not limited to case management, testing, syringe service program, and medical nutrition therapy. To view a full list of our services, please visit allianceforliving.org. Newport Mansions, as seen on HBO's The Gilded Age. Newport Mansions preserves and protects 11 historic properties and landscapes in Newport, Rhode Island, exemplifying 3 centuries of achievements in American architecture, decorative arts, and landscape design. Plan your visit this year and attend some of the mansion's signature events, including Newport Mansions Wine and Food Festival, September 20th to 22nd, and holidays at the Newport Mansions, November 23rd to January 1st. Tickets and info at newportmansions.org. And
SCAD, the Southeastern Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, is looking for licensed clinicians and is offering the top benefits packages in the state. Go to licensedclinicians.org to learn more. That's licensedclinicians.org.
The Connecticut Council on Problem Gambling is a nonprofit organization which, through advocacy, prevention, and education, is here to support individuals and families who are impacted by problem gambling. Our helpline, 1-888-789-7777, is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We also have live chat and tech support through our website, www.ccpg.org.
Time now for a look at other stories making the headlines this week. Education remains a strong priority in the upcoming elections. Edwin J. Vieira from the Connecticut News Service has this report.
Connecticut groups say education is a top priority in the 2024 election. Vice President Kamala Harris is vowing to continue and expand on Biden administration programs. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump has called for cutting federal funding to schools teaching critical race theory, vetoing civics education, and removing radicals working in the Federal Department of Education. Amy Dowell with Education Reform Now CT says there are some education priorities the next president must address.
It's pushed back on the extreme Project 2025 agenda of privatizing public education, of the rise of vouchers, and of the threats that it could put on the civil rights protections of students.
She adds post-pandemic recovery also needs to be a priority. Chronic absenteeism and learning loss are still prevalent. While the previous school year's rate of chronic absenteeism fell in Connecticut, it's still much higher than pre-pandemic numbers. 26% of public school students nationwide were chronically absent in 2023, up from 15% pre-pandemic. A major concern for public education is Project 2025, a layout of policy initiatives for a second Trump administration. Some of its policy plans call for ending Title I investments in schools, disbanding the U.S. Department of Education, and terminating school nutrition programs. Dowell says this is a regressive plan for American education.
We are particularly concerned about how they would impact students and educators, a silencing of educators, and a return to decades past in how we see public education.
Beyond public education, Dowell notes the next president will also have to focus on higher education initiatives. Canceling student loan debt is a big part of President Joe Biden's agenda, which Harris has said she'll continue. But Dowell says there are some education issues Harris can take on that Biden didn't.
We want to make sure that access continues to be available to students who are first-generation college students. We'd love to see the end of legacy admissions in Connecticut and nationally. Legacy admissions overwhelmingly benefit whiter students, higher-income students.
This is Edwin J. Vieira for Connecticut News Service.
The New England Teamsters Pension Fund has announced it has secured more than $5.7 billion in funding under the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation's PBGC Special Finance Assistance Program. This announcement concludes a nearly 2-year process working with PBGC in the fall of 2022 to secure future funding as the pension fund was projected to go insolvent within the next 10 years. The pension fund expects to receive the SFA funds within 30 days and will use them to continue paying benefits and the administrative expenses of the plan. The pension fund was established in 1958 to provide retirement benefits to Teamsters, represented employers working in a variety of industries across New England, from freight drivers and warehouse staff to package delivery, brewery and bakery workers. The pension fund currently has more than 72,000 participants, more than 33,000 of whom receive monthly retirement benefits. The Senate has overwhelmingly passed legislation designed to protect children from dangerous online content. It is the first major effort in decades by Congress to hold tech companies more accountable for the harm they cause. The Kids Online Safety Act passed 91-3 and has been pushed by parents of children who died by suicide after online bullying or came to harm from other online content. Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal was one of the bill's sponsors and said it's a big step forward.
A momentous and historic day. For the first time in almost 3 decades, the Congress is taking action to protect against abuses on the internet. And we're doing so by breaking the grip of big tech, which has intimidated and influenced Congress in the past to avoid any kind of safeguards or protection for our children or anyone else.
If the child safety bill becomes law, companies will be required to mitigate harm to children, including bullying and violence, the promotion of suicide, eating disorders, substance abuse, sexual exploitation, and advertisements for illegal products such as narcotics, tobacco, or alcohol. The Paris 2024 Olympic Games are halfway through, and U.S. athletes are doing well in the medal tables. And in the cycling events, medals have been won thanks to the technology of Mystic-based cycle company Princeton Carbon Works and their high-tech wheels being used by teams and individuals. So far, their wheels helped gain a silver in the men's individual time trial, and their sister company, P1 Race Technologies, helped gain 2 gold medals in the men's cross-country mountain bike and the women's cross-country mountain bike races. And finally,
Smokey the Bear.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Smokey Bear turns 80 this year. Created in 1944, the Smokey Bear Wildfire Prevention Campaign is the longest-running public service advertising campaign in U.S. history, educating generations of Americans about their role in preventing wildfires. Despite the campaign's success over the years, wildfire prevention remains one of the most critical issues affecting the country. Smokey's message is as relevant and urgent today as it was back in 1944. And to celebrate the milestone, the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council have released a set of public service advertisements to pay homage to the legacy of the iconic wildfire campaign. You can find out more at SmokeyBear.com. And of course, happy 80th birthday, Smokey Bear. That's all from us for this edition. Do send us your questions and story ideas to the show via our website at connecticut-east.com or Facebook or Twitter at Connecticut East and on Instagram at Connecticut East This Week. And you can listen to the show again on our social platforms, on demand, and by asking your smart speaker to play Connecticut East This Week podcast. And please like, follow, and share on your social media too. I'm Brian Scott Smith. Thank you for listening.